We can go. It's 6:30. I call the meeting to order. Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Mayor Dave Dillon.
Here.
Council members Lindsay Larson.
Here.
Norris Johnson.
Here.
Ken Mueller.
Here. Approval, can I get a motion for the approval of the agenda?
I'll make a motion.
Second.
We have some additions. We're going to add, we have the open forum, but with that we don't need. Great Northern Trail. She's going to speak, Gina Hugo is going to speak under requested communications and under 10H Airport. We got the final payment request that we need to add. Anything else?
No, you might want to just explain to Travis that we're going to move you down to where
Yeah,
the-
I told him.
Okay,
We'll
where
put
the
him right
ordinance.
under.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're gonna combine them.
Yeah, we'll put you right at H, or, I'm sorry, I gotta have my glasses on, G, under ordinance 502, instead of open forum.
Well, the open forum request that I had was different than the 502.
Oh, it is? Okay, sorry, then we'll keep you on open forum also.
It's not
Okay.
part of the agenda, it's completely separate.
Okay, thank you for clarifying. Okay. You need a motion
And
to,
did you add Joe?
well, he's under open forum.
Yep,
Yep, so we're good there.
okay.
Need a motion for the changes to the agenda?
I'll make a motion to approve the changes.
I'll
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Changes passes, and we already have a motion and second for the agenda. All in favor?
Aye.
Approval of bills, can I get a motion to approve those?
So
Oh, I'm sorry, minutes.
Minutes.
I got ahead of myself. I gotta keep my glasses on. Approval of minutes, 8/18/2022 and 9/7/2022.
Move for approval?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Approval of bills.
Move for approval?
I'll second that.
Any discussion on those? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Bills passed. Public hearing, there's no public hearing. Open forum. First, we have Joe Opager, right?
Yes,
If you want to give your name and address, and then you can go right into it.
sure. Do I go up there? Okay.
Thank you. My name is Joseph Opager. My address is 12460 160th Street, Milaca, Minnesota. Good evening. So my name is Joseph Opager. I've been a resident of Milaca since 2011, and I'm here to voice my support for the passage of Milaca City Ordinance number 497 in regards to the regulation of the sale of THC products. As you are all aware, as of July 1st, the Minnesota legislature approved a law that allows food and beverages containing a maximum of 5 milligrams of THC per serving to be sold within the state. My wife and I, since learning of this news, have been exploring the possibility of opening a CBD THC dispensary here in town. And we've met and worked with local invested parties to ensure that our store is going to be opened the right way. We've met with Police Chief Rasmussen to inform him of our plans and also answer any questions and concerns that he had. I also wanted to determine what ordinances were currently in place, and upon learning that we did not have one yet, suggested that something that we should look into just as a city in general. I've also met with Mayor Dillon to discuss our proposal for these same reasons. Our main concern throughout this entire process was we didn't want to sneak the store in or come in under anybody's noses. We wanted to make sure that we understand the importance of keeping these products out of the hands of youth. and believe that, we are very well equipped for that task. In addition to this possible city ordinance, we will also have very stringent store policies in place that restrict who is even able to enter that store. Absolutely nobody under the age of 21 years old. My wife and I have been exploring business opportunities here in Milaca for the last few years, and we think now we found one. We're a local couple, we're extremely invested in this community, and we're excited at the prospect of opening a store that sells this new legal product that people have been traveling to other cities to buy or buying online, or, with no real regulation or commitment to the city of Milaca. I just wanted to, again, voice my support for the implementation of this city ordinance. And if passed, we look forward to applying for a license as soon as we are possibly able to. So thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Joe.
You bet.
And also on open forum is Travis Hall.
Good evening. My name is Travis Hall, 15364 Central Avenue, Milaca, Minnesota. I'm here representing the Milaca Post 178 Gambling as gambling manager. My question today in the open forum piece of this meeting is in relation to LG 510, the city or county annual report 10% lawful gaming contribution fund. This is regulated by the current ordinance that our post, as well as the Milaca Fire Department, have to pay 10% of our net profits to the city to be placed into this fund for use within the community. So my questions are, number one, according to the LG 510, dated 3/15 of 2021, so that's the year of 2020, at that time, the current balance was $71,289. I did provide a copy of the LG 510 for your review. During that year, only two expenditures were made. One was for maintenance and upkeep of the Historical Society for $4,019.47, and the maintenance and upkeep of the trail system for $780.35. My question to you, City Council, is why aren't we using this money in the community if we're having to pay it on a monthly basis from the Post 178 and the Fireman's Relief Fund? If this money is earmarked for organizations and for charities within this community, I think we have a due diligence to actually spend that money on those charitable organizations according to state law. Thank you.
Thank you, Travis. Is there anybody else here that is not on the agenda that would like to speak to anything that's not on the agenda tonight? I think that was it. Moving on, requests and communications. We have Gina Hugo from the Great Northern Trail here to talk about the trail project.
Did you have any handouts, Gina?
I do. Thank you, Tammy.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor Dillon and council members. My name is Gina Hugo. I'm the Sherburne County Parks Coordinator, and I'm here tonight to give you an update on the master planning process for extending the Great Northern Trail. Our plan with the master plan was to create a vision for extending the trail all the way to Milaca to end at Recreation Park. And many of you may know better than me that the vision of extending the trail along its entire potential has been a long time vision for the community, and work on it began long before my time in Sherburne County in 2019. However, over the past 2 years, we've made some good progress. In early 2021, Sherburne County entered into an MOU with Mille Lacs County in the cities of Princeton, Zimmerman, and Elk River. And this allowed us to work together to develop a master plan that would be used to apply for regional designation through the Greater Minnesota Regional Parks and Trails Commission. And this regional designation is very significant because it makes us eligible to apply for clean water, land, and legacy funding for future trail extensions. So with the master plan near its final draft, we're waiting for all of the partner boards and councils to approve it before calling it a final draft. With it where it is, we are seeking formal resolutions from the partner boards and councils, as well as letters of support from stakeholders like yourselves, cities and townships, and user groups along the trail corridor. We've received a letter of support from the Milaca Trails Initiative, and Jordan DeBar is here tonight. We've really enjoyed working with MTI throughout the planning process. They've provided a lot of meaningful input and perspective on the plan. And our hope is that the City Council would consider providing a letter of support for our regional designation application. I can draw your attention to the last 2 pages of the summary that I distributed, and that shows the trail segment that would run through Milaca and end at Rec Park. And then the last page is a concept plan for a trailhead at Rec Park. And that would include amenities such as shade structure, screened porta potty, electric vehicle charging, water filling station, wayfinding signage. And from there, the trail would connect users to the Great Northern Trail and to the mountain bike trail system. And I would also add that the master plan is recommending a phased approach for segments of the plan that are not under public ownership. So we have several segments, most of them in Sherburne County between Zimmerman and Princeton, that are in private ownership. And so the plan accommodates for a near-term phase of constructing in current county road right-of-way, and then with the future option of building on corridor as properties would become available from willing sellers. And that's a similar case with the section going up into Milaca.
Yeah, that last segment from Pease to the trailhead, weren't there some segments in there that were kind of iffy yet, or you gotta
Yep.
do something, you have an alternate plan? Is that-
Well, there's the phased approach of constructing in road right-of-way, grade separated, and on certain pages of that summary, it shows trail typology for that scenario, so you'll be able to see that. And then I have forwarded a complete master plan to staff that she can share with you via email. And this is a long-term plan. It's a vision over the next 20 to 30 years, so.
That's a great plan. You guys are pretty pleased with it, aren't you, Jordan? Yeah. Yeah, I think it looks really good. And yeah, a lot of people have really wanted it for a long time. It'd be great. So you just need some support from us, letter of support.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep,
And I
that's
have
what we're looking
prepared
for.
one,
Oh,
so,
perfect.
and it would just, since it'll be signed from the Milaca City Council.
Okay.
Okay, so Gina, I will give that to you.
Thank you very much. Thanks for your time tonight.
you.
And your support.
That's really nice. Okay, moving on to ordinances and resolutions. Resolution 2239, resolution providing for the issuance and sale of the 373,000 general obligation water revenue bond series 2022B and pledging net revenues for the security and payment thereof.
Good evening, Mayor, members of the council. George Eilertson from Northland Securities. And what I'm here tonight is to review the financing for a general obligation water revenue bond. I believe in your packets, there is a resolution that is the action for consideration this evening that would award the financing. I'll hit the highlights, Mayor and Council, and certainly let me know if you have any questions. So you've got an overall financing need of approximately $521,000. There was a point in the past where the city council decided to contribute some ARPA money to the project. $148,000 is going towards this project. The balance then is financed through this bond issue that I'm here tonight to review. So the financing amount is $373,000. General obligation water revenue bonds to purchase new water meters. So we worked, contacted the First National Bank of Milaca, got a good quote from them for the financing. So it's a 5-year financing term, again, for that $373,000. The interest rate is a fixed 3.25%, and it's callable any date. So meaning that there's no prepayment penalties or call dates into the future that you have to wait if you'd like to pay this off early. So, Mayor and Council, the expectation is that, again, with this bond issue, that you would have revenues of the municipal water utility that would be available to help make the debt service payments on these bonds. So this one is pretty straightforward. Again, short-term, 5 years, $373,000, working with your local lender, which is certainly nice to do. And the proceeds will be available October 13th. So I know that was a brief presentation, Mayor and Council, but if you have any questions, I can certainly address them.
Any questions? And I'll go back and ask for a motion for Resolution 2239.
Move for approval?
I'll second that, please.
Any other discussion? All in favor of Resolution 2239?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Resolution passes.
Thank you for your
You're
time.
all set. Thank you. Ordinance number 497, adding Chapter 120, Title 11, THC products, second reading. We got a little more information from Joe. I see that they put the, oh, I'm sorry. Can I get a motion for that?
I'll make a motion.
Second?
Now we can discuss it. They added the 500 feet. Any other additions or changes that anybody wants to see?
Do we want anything in here on prorated licensing? So if they come in the middle of the year, do we want to prorate licensing?
Yeah, I talked to Dolores about that. I thought that was kind of an automatic thing. That's what we do with tobacco and alcohol. And it's going under the same fee schedule, isn't it?
Correct.
If there isn't language, then yes, I think it would be good to add.
Yeah, I
The
think
only
that
change you made was of 500 feet there.
Yeah, we put 500 feet in for the public school.
Okay.
It'll be under section 120-04 under fees. Could add that language.
Anything
What
else?
are you adding in there? Because doesn't it just refer to the fee schedule, so just change the fee schedule? Do you have to add anything in there?
We should add the language in there.
Blanket, right?
Yep.
Anything else new on your end, Damien, on this, or?
A couple of changes, you can just add some language that basically says something along the lines of, any fees paid during the course of the calendar year to be prorated to the first of the year.
Anything else? Hearing nothing else. All in favor of ordinance 497?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Ordinance passes. Ordinance 498, amending fee schedule for the addition of license fee THC retail establishment, second reading. Can I get a motion for that?
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Any discussion on that? I don't think there's been any change on that, is there? No. No other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Ordinance passes. Ordinance 499, amending Title III, Chapter 33, City Policies, Section 33.20, Criminal History License Background Investigations. I need a motion for that.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Anything,
I can just give a little bit of insight. That's for local law enforcement agencies who do criminal background checks. Their audit requirements are very stringent, and they can really only access their criminal databases to do these when there's specific authority to do so. While we had language in the TAC ordinance itself about local law enforcement doing background check, Quinn wanted to have it specifically articulated in the city's own criminal background check ordinance to include that. So that's all that's happening there, is we're adding that to the already existing liquor, tobacco, things like that.
okay, thank you. Any other questions on that? Otherwise, all in favor of ordinance 499?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Ordinance passes. Ordinance 500, amending Title IX, Chapter 94, Section 94.18, Public Nuisances Affecting Peace and Safety, Provision F, Noise, first reading. Can I get a motion for that?
So moved.
Second.
Any new discussion? That's first reading, right? It went down to the
Correct.
next line. Yeah, okay, I want to make sure I had that right. That's just the addition we talked about. If nothing, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed. Ordinance passes. Ordinance 501, repealing Chapter 116, gambling regulations, first reading.
I'll make a motion.
Thank you. Let's
Second.
see reading. This is not,
It's just a repealer.
yeah, okay.
Where are the changes in this?
Yeah, the new charitable gambling ordinance takes into account changes within the law within the past few years. I utilized the model, tailored a few things to the city of Milaca. Brings a lot of other things up to the current status, the old, and then when we do that, we're repealing the old one entirely.
Okay. All in favor of ordinance 501, repealing the gambling regulations? Aye. Opposed? All right, now we can go to ordinance 502, chapter 116, authorizing and regulating the conduct of lawful gambling within the city. First reading. And if you don't have anything else, I know Travis had some things he wanted to address. You can go ahead, Travis.
Thank you.
Mayor, City Council, thank you for giving me the opportunity to talk about the repeal of 501 and the installation of 502. I've had an opportunity to read this new ordinance that's being proposed, and I do have some questions regarding it and some concerns about it as it pertains to post 178 gambling as well as Minnesota Fire Relief gambling. In particular, I applaud the city council for repealing the current ordinance. It's outdated. I took over as gambling manager in July of this year. As part of my onboarding, I wanted to understand what the law was and what the ordinance was here in City of Milaca. So I had posed some questions about this. So I'm happy that the ordinance is being rewritten and being updated. However, we do have a vested interest at Post 178 and as well as the Fireman's Relief Fund as to how that ordinance does read. And I thank you again for giving me the opportunity to speak. So Section 14, designated trade area, subdivision 1. Each organization licensed to conduct gambling within the city shall expend 100% of its lawful purpose expenditures on lawful purposes conducted within the city's trade area. The city's trade areas is defined on page 1 underneath the definition subsection 4. Trade area as used in this ordinance means City Milaca, Townships of Daly, Mudgett, Page, Halen, Milaca, Borgholm, Milo, and Borges Brook. So basically what the ordinance is requiring us, which is a new subdivision over the old ordinance, is that 100% of our lawful expenditures as assigned by Minnesota statute in gambling control would need to be spent here in the city of Milaca in those townships recommended in the trade. Okay? We are an American Legion. This year alone, we have given $18,000 of our gambling funds to local community as well as people outside of our community. And to restrict us to say that we have to spend 100% of those dollars here in the community really does a disservice to our veterans and to the American Legion org as a whole. We're asking you to strike this subdivision in this ordinance altogether. If you're not willing to strike the ordinance this subdivision altogether, I recommend that you say 40%. 40% would give us the latitude to be able to give to the Veterans Home in St. Cloud, to give to our national organization, to pay for flags in the city of Bach, which we just recently did, to do the parades in the city of Foreston, Milaca, and in Bach, and pay for the candy and stuff. As the ordinance is written, that would not allow us to do those things. I do have a list of our donations as of to date, and I will submit that to you. But as of today, I said that we have already given out $18,787 in our charitable gambling. And of that, $7,543 was given outside of the townships in the city of Milaca. Some of the people that we have given to are Christmas presents to local youth. Those youth don't necessarily live in the city of Milaca or in those townships defined in the trade area. We've given money to the Memorial Vietnam Wall. We've given $1,000 for baseball lighting at the city of Foreston. We've given $500 to Sam's Hope, which was a benefit for somebody that had cancer, that did not live in the local area, that had ties to our American Legion. We gave $1,000 to Brook Park Fire Department for fire equipment. We gave $1,200 to the Canine Unit Vest for Dogs here in Mille Lacs County, which necessarily benefits the city of Milaca and those townships defined in the trade area. We gave $1,000 to the Vets Home in St. Cloud for recreation purposes, in-house recreation purposes. We gave canine vests for dog, I already stated that, but I will present this as reasoning for changing that subdivision of the ordinance. Give us the latitude to be able to give to those outside of our community, especially for the American Legion, because we're representing vets across the state. We have in the past given money to vets that don't live in the state that are members of our American Legion still, and we still want to continue to be able to do that. I'll move on to Section 15, Subdivision 1, Records and Reporting. My contention with this subdivision has to do with records and reports shall be filed on or before the day that they are required to be filed with the board. Board meaning Gambling Control Board. I'm okay with reporting to the city. What we have done in the past, and to recognize the 10% that we pay to the city of our legal funds, is that we provide an LG 100 and then cut a check for the amount of 10% of that LG 100. I don't feel that it's necessary to burden your staff with all the forms that we provide to Gambling Control. There's no reason that you need our check register. You don't need the LG 100F. You don't need the 100A. Honestly, you know, you're taking on paperwork that you're really not going to use. I would prefer to be able to just continue to do what we've done in the past, use the LG 100, which we file with Gambling Control, and as reference to the 10% that's owed to the city of Milaca.
And just so I don't understand what those are, so that just gives us the basic information the city needs.
It gives you our total
finances
revenue
and
for the
all that.
month, what our prizes were spent, how much we spent on lawful expenditures, and then our net on the back side. And then we just cut a check for 10% of that and give it to the city. Subdivision 2, there seems to be a typo in subdivision 2. Organizations licensed by the board shall file a report with the city providing compliance with trade area spending requirements imposed by section 16. If you look down at section 16, it refers to hours in operation. So it actually should refer to a different subsection. At the end of the day, you know, at least from us, you know, at the American Legion, we want to be very, very transparent with the city. I asked my questions about, you know, why we're not spending the 10% within the city in the open forum. We're trying to do our best for the community and stay within the laws of the state of Minnesota, as well as the ordinances set by the city council. So I ask that you work with us, because we do have a vested interest here in the community. Thank you.
Thanks, Travis.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
In the past, has it been running that percentage, like you said, 18,000 and about 75?
That's a very good question, Councilman. I don't have a good handle. I could do some research on it, but our main focus here is really to give back to the community. But we also are a broader organization, you know, we try our best, you know, and we really focus on the sports teams here in town and getting them involved with the Legion. We cover the charters for the Boy Scouts and the Cub Scouts as well, so they're an extension of the American Legion. We're going to always do our best, but to really limit us and say we have to spend 100% here, it's a burden on us.
Well, we appreciate all the vets that you know, help.
Thank you.
Any other questions for Travis before he sits down, or anybody have any other questions in general? It's our first reading, so we can make changes as needed.
Yeah. Just a few things. So he's correct. I think the typo should be subsection 14.
Yeah.
So I'll make that correction. With respect to the records that need to be provided, generally speaking, that's the thought process behind that is the city is ultimately the local regulatory entity and needs to be able to have access to all those documents. But I'll look into it, and if there's a way for us to limit, you know, what is provided to something like other such documents as the city may require, but leave the authority within the ordinance to give the city manager the authority to require it if deemed necessary, might be enough to get around that. And I would think a lot of these forms are in electronic format anyway, so if they can be transferred to her in electronic format just to comply with it and simply focus on the one form that he was talking about, may expedite things. At least that way we're collecting the data, but I'll work with some verbiage that may alleviate that concern as well. And then as far as the trade area goes, I'll take a look at whether or not we can reduce that size or reduce the percentages. Again, this is based on the league's standardized ordinance, and a lot of these are designed for metropolitan areas. There's so many communities that are right next to each other that regulate their own. We're obviously not in that situation, so we might be able to tweak those numbers.
Yeah, I'd really like to see that change, because that's just,
And I'm going to check with our auditor too, as far as reporting requirements that they want to see. So that would be
If I may,
entirely, yeah. I mean,
Just
they need,
a friendly rebuttal is that I was at gambling control recurrent training today with a lot of my colleagues that are gambling managers throughout the state. I don't know the exact percentage right now as to how many how many cities require the 10% donation, but there are a lot of big cities within the metro area that do not have that requirement, including Roseville, which is a very big area. The trade area is a concern to us. It is, absolutely. As far as, you know, you can write this ordinance just, you know, any way that you really want to, honestly. And if you want information from us, we're open to doing regular audits. But I don't feel that we need to share our checkbook with you on a monthly basis.
Right.
I don't. That information, you can obtain that information publicly through the 990s every single year that we file with the state. Gambling Control Board has certain information that's available to the city as well. That's how I found the LG form that, you know, on what you're spending is through the Gambling Control Board. There is a checks and balance system. I have to go through 2 audits this year. I have to go through the Gambling Control audit, and I also have to go through an independent audit. You know, how much paperwork do I need to provide? I mean, and what are you really going to gain from it and get from it?
Right. I would, your suggestion of providing the one form that you talked about, and then having access as needed.
Right.
If something comes up with an audit or whatever, then maybe we
open the
need that
books, we
information.
will.
Yeah, yep, yep, seems to make more sense to me too. But that doesn't usually matter. So we can look into that then, and
Yeah,
kind of come up with
absolutely.
some ideas? Good. All right, did we have a motion and a second on that? We did, didn't we?
We did not.
We did not. All right.
I'll make a
okay.
motion.
All right.
Second?
Any further discussion? Thanks, Travis, for giving us all that information.
Thank you.
Hearing none. All in favor of ordinance 502?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Ordinance passes first reading, and then we can look at that. Okay, moving on to reports and department, city manager.
The idea is to change the October council meeting date possibly to the 19th because of Brewfest. I thought it was called Oktoberfest, but I guess I was wrong.
I thought we had something else scheduled. Jeez,
Yeah.
really blew that.
So if everybody's free on the 19th, would that be a possibility?
Is that an away game? I can't
It's- I
remember.
think it's home.
Is that home?
Oh,
Just one day early.
Yep.
I think it'd be better to do a cross country
On what day?
that Monday. It says MEA.
you talking
October 19th.
Right now, we're scheduled for the 20th, and there is that rumor of community event. What's that?
And that's MEA.
Yeah, it's MEA. We always meet on Thursday of MEA.
okay, so the 19th is on Wednesday, the 19th?
Maybe, I
Yes.
don't know, that's what we're talking
Yeah.
about.
It's on
Yeah, it is.
Wednesday.
Unless that's, do you know if it's home? I don't know
I'm
that,
trying to look.
okay. Because if it's a home game, that ties up a lot of people,
Yeah, it does.
an awful lot of people. I don't think it is, though.
You don't think so? Always when you're trying to find something, you can't find it.
I'm pretty sure it isn't, because I think it's homecoming, and then I think we're home the 14th, and then I think we're away.
See if you can.
I'm pretty sure it's away. If not, well, we'll just go fast that night.
Yeah.
We'll probably have
On the
3 meetings
19th?
before then anyhow.
Right.
Those in favor?
So you want to go try the 19th?
19th
Okay.
at 6:30,
Yep.
and we need a motion?
Yep, I just want to get that
So
in
moved.
before I forget. We have a motion, do we have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor of moving it to the 19th? Aye. Opposed? There. That'll work. Police Department, Quinn's not here, do we have anything else?
Fire department, we just have Jesse, he had additional costs for the concrete apron, ended up to be 10 inches, so we'll just make that approval to increase the cost on that particular project.
Yeah, so the project is half done, so we're gonna move the trucks around Sunday and Cody's gonna do the rest of it next week. So hopefully the concrete is done before our council and township open house on the 26th. And then our, fall open house is October 8th.
Okay. When are they gonna do the pavement?
Somewhere around the 1st of October is what we
Okay.
kinda talked about. I
Okay,
told them they would be done around that time, so.
October 8th is the open house? Okay. That's my son's wedding, I should probably go to that.
Oh, yeah.
Nothing else from the police, parks?
we just need a motion.
You jumped down there, do you want me to skip the other ones, or just
Yeah,
go to
there's
that?
nothing,
Okay,
nothing on those.
all right. Can I get a motion for the additional cost for concrete for the fire department?
Make a
So-
motion.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Tammy, did you want to mention about the planning commission meeting?
Planning commission meeting will be September 28th. Be working on the bee and the chicken ordinance.
Nothing new and exciting in Public Works?
Nothing too crazy.
That's a good
That's a
thing.
good thing, right?
Okay, under the airport, we have the final payment request. You're gonna need a motion for that?
I'll make a
Yeah.
motion.
Yeah, all right.
Second that?
And this is all, no new numbers,
No,
okay.
be done.
All right, no, that'll be nice. All right, and all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? We're done with that. Economic development, we meet
21st.
21st. We're going to
At 1
Wednesday.
o'clock.
Yeah, we're going to Wednesday meetings now at 1 o'clock for economic development, and we're having a presentation from
Children's First.
Children's
Sign
First, yeah.
Finance.
Yeah, that survey that was done on childcare and childcare needs in the county, and they're gonna come and present and give us a lot of good information, so that should be good, if anyone wants to come in on that.
Who's on that?
Economic development,
Yeah, but who's on it? You're on it and, is it?
And Joe Cronin,
Joe- oh,
Matt
I know Joe Cronin.
Hagerness, Mike
Okay.
Wimmer,
Dave-
Rochelle,
Rochelle,
Wednesday.
Dave Whedon,
Mhm.
yeah. Personnel. Don't have anything to do with that at this point. Budget, you guys will probably meet now after tonight.
As far as, are you gonna pass the budget tonight?
I don't know.
Okay, well, all right, let's go down to new business then. Well,
City attorney legal fees services agreement. Make a motion for that,
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
and that was pretty much what we talked about, correct?
okay, who was the first? Ken?
Yeah,
Did Ken make the motion and Lindsay second?
yeah.
Okay.
Anything new with that?
Oh,
The only thing I am gonna note, and I'm gonna put Tammy on notice, when this contract is over in 2024 and the new one is done, that'll probably end 2027. I am gonna put specific language in there that requires the city to both retroactively and prospectively provide me my certificates or recognition of service for 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, and 20 years.
Good one.
1 year.
good one. Love it.
Kind of the least we could do.
Right. Oh, that was good.
All right, hearing nothing else, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? That passes. Now the budget and tax levy.
Okay.
You want to go over that? Oh,
Sure.
I'm sorry, I should get a motion for that.
I'll make a motion to approve that.
I got Lindsay?
Yep.
Okay.
Now you can go ahead.
Okay, so from our meeting on the 7th, met with the Personnel Committee. Wages were increased for Quinn, Gary, and Dolores. Then we removed the 5,000 from elections with the idea that if we had to have one, we could do a budget adjustment. And with that, we also reduced the levy down to 2.69%. Those were the only changes that happened after the 7th. So that the budget that you have before you, with everything that we changed at the September 7th meeting, and then the few items that we changed afterwards. The change impacted the general fund, but with an excess of $5,001. So that worked out very well to get that where we ended up. So if you don't see any other changes, the council can pass the prelim budget and tax levy.
And at a prelim, we typically hang around that 2.5.
Yeah, we do,
We don't want to go much less than that, depending on
right,
what could happen
right,
between now and then.
right. And then once we get into, October, November, we'll start working towards the final one. I was really crunched with time this year to be able to try to meet with the committees, spending a lot of time on the budget this year, so.
Any other questions on that? I thought last week's presentation or whatever, 2 weeks ago was good, so,
That's a good way to do it, I think.
yeah, I like that.
Yeah, I really like that.
Okay, hearing nothing else, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? So the preliminary's passed. Calling a public hearing on December 15th, 2022 for Truth and Taxation, 2023 tax levy and budget.
I'll move for approval. Second.
Any discussion on that? Pretty straightforward, isn't it?
Yeah, it's required by law
Yeah.
to do your TNT.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Okay.
Nothing on the
And then-
back side. This is a closed meeting. We have a closed meeting today? Do I have script for it?
Do you want to give him a quick script?
Oh, there's no script in there?
I don't know, you can get
Okay.
one.
Well, basically, what I would suggest the mayor do is simply indicate that the council is going into closed session, that the purpose for the closed session is to conduct city manager review. This does fall under an exception to the open meeting law. The purpose of closing the meeting is to protect employee confidentiality and personal data. No actions will be taken in closed session. And with that, a motion to close the meeting and a second should be appropriate at this point in time.
Move that we close the meeting. I'll second. I'll second it.
I hope you didn't think I was gonna repeat all that. so-
So, that's why I was kind of going slowly, so I
Okay.
think we would just say so moved.
Perfect, okay. Okay, so we are closed?
Yep.